Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 6 in trying to resurrect my old Bronco. Today is the day that we are going to try and get some progress made on this thing. You can see I've already put the new thermostat in, put the thermostat housing on. I had to replace the eccentric wheel because the previous one had fallen off and had the little tab was broken, and it was just kind of laying down in there. This is one of them two-piece jobbies. I'm not totally sure I'm sold on it, but we'll give it a try. I am trying to work on a couple of things simultaneously, so doing a couple of things on the engine, and at the same time I did get the auxiliary gas tank clean as it's gonna get. Got it all put back together, did that last night, so we'll get it put back under, and I need to actually go and get some new fuel line. The fuel line that I ordered was not the right size, turns out, so I'm gonna have to go get some from the parts store. The new front cover, you can see, let me turn that fan off. You can see that I've already put in the new front seal. Not really worth doing that on camera. I just used a block of wood and a hammer and pounded it in. And another thing, this front cover was supposed to be the one without the dipstick hole, but you can see that it clearly has the dipstick hole, so we're going to try a bolt and RTV in there and see if that'll hold. And just for the record, the previous front cover had the same hole there, and they just globbed some RTV in it, and I mean, to my knowledge, it didn't leak. So the main goal for today is that we get the front cover on and start to get the front of the engine put back together. At the same time, I want to try and get the fuel tank in. I don't know if we'll have this thing ready to start today, or if I need to wait and kind of let the RTV set. You know, it's still pretty cold. I think today's going to get up into the 40s. However, tonight's going to be cold, tomorrow's going to be cold, so we'll see. All right. Time to get the front cover on. Sorry, the timing chain cover. I've been calling it the front cover. Anyway, we got our little cork oil pan gasket pieces here. We're gonna have to do a little trimming, cut to fit kind of thing. Kind of eyeball it and guess. Don't want to cut too much off. Got it on the first try. Now I will trim the corners of these up as I need to, but I'll do that after I get the timing cover on, just so I don't cut too much or, you know, not enough off. So I'll do that with the blade afterward. Got those guys ready to go. And I've already got the lower, the front main seal in the new timing cover. I'll pull it back out, give it just a little bit of RTV to kind of set it in there, or help keep it in there. And then we'll do the RTV magic, you know, spritz a little bit in the corners, and that corner down there too on the pan and block and whatnot. Pop her on and start putting in as many bolts as we can. I've got the little heater here running just to kind of keep this area warm while I do the RTV part. Oh, there you have it. The front cover, timing chain cover is on. I had a heck of a time getting it lined up, but I eventually got it. So now I'll get the new water pump on. This is a Napa Special water pump. Surprisingly, it came with the backing plate. I don't know if that's a normal thing for these water pumps or not, but I was totally prepared to not have this backing plate. And I'm just right now trying to get it aligned a little bit better. Maybe what I ought to do is use a little bit of silicone to kind of set this gasket a little bit better in place. Gasket isn't quite on there how it's supposed to be. I'm just doing a real thin layer. I want it to be just enough that that gasket for this backing plate kind of holds in place. I think there's a million different opinions on using RTV or silicone or anything like that for gaskets. I've always used it. I've never had a problem. The people on the internet might think differently, but it's okay. They're entitled to their own thoughts and opinions and beliefs, and we can mutually disagree with each other and still have a nice conversation. Alrighty, time to get this water pump on. Well, good grief, that sucked. But we got the mechanical fuel pump in. I also got the harmonic balancer on. I still need to get it torqued down to spec. Spec I think was like 75 to 90 or something. I'm going to do it at 85. At least that's the torque spec I found online. Alright, just kind of checking in here. You can see I've got a lot of the front of the engine put back together. At this point, I mean, I'm ready to, you know, put the fan on, get the radiator in, get it all filled up with fluids and whatnot.
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Too many things going on.
Well, we're getting her back together. Probably should have put on the lower radiator hose before I put all this back together. Hindsight being 50-50. We'll figure it out. Alright, only a minor inconvenience to get that lower radiator hose in. Looking at everything, I think we're good to go. I have the correct fuel line, quote unquote correct, that goes from the fuel pump over to the carburetor, but I'm gonna have to bend it a little bit so that it kind of fits a little bit better. So for now, I'll just hook some rubber line up and take it to the carburetor right there, and then we'll plug into gas can and see if this thing starts. Alright y'all, here's the setup. I'll straighten that gas can out, but got my line going from the pump to the carburetor, and then I've got the other line down through the grill and then into this little pre-government regulation gas can. I have the stupid battery charger hooked up. We'll see. We're gonna put her in engine start mode. Give her all the electronics. Here we go. Sauce. Well, psych, we're gonna let the battery charge for a bit. We'll try it again. We'll try it again later. How about that? wasn't doing that before. Can't tell if it's getting any fuel though. Come on, baby. Well, I think I smell fuel. I think. So of course, when the camera is turned off, it started up and ran for a second. I will see if we can get it to do that again. Trying to see if it's got oil pressure. Well, I'm going to say it runs. How about that? Y'all heard it here first. So I think now what I'm going to do is get the fuel tank put back in, get my fuel line ran properly, maybe do some spark plugs. We got a gnarly carburetor leak maybe. I think the accelerator pump might be leaking. That doesn't surprise me, but we'll check that out. Do a little bit more fine tuning, but I mean it runs. See if we can do it one more time and see if that accelerator pump. Oh yeah, it's definitely leaking. I can see it dripping. She dripping. I might actually have an accelerator pump, but hey, that's awesome. Well, thanks all. That'll do it for this episode. We got it running. Pretty cheesed. But we got a lot more to do to kind of get it finely tuned. But that's all for now. Tune in next week and follow me on some more adventures with this old Bronco. Have a good one.